This is going to be a very quick lesson. As I mentioned, we have a few other area lights based on their shapes other than the quad light that we discussed in the previous lesson, including cylinder, disc, mesh, and point light. We talk about mesh light in its own specific lesson, and in this lesson we take a brief look at the point, disc, and cylinder lights. When I say area light, I mean a light that emits from a surface or an area basically. First, let's run the IPR and create a point light and position it in the scene. By default, the point light is an omni-light that emits light from one point in space in all directions. But simply by increasing its radius parameter, you can get a sphere light, as you can see in the reflections. The bigger the sphere, the more diffuse the shadow, and the smaller the sphere, the sharper the shadow. Now under the light tab, let's change the light type to cylinder light. And let's just, if I take a look and get out of my camera, you can see we have the cylinder in the scene. Now let's go to the main tab and let's decrease the radius of our cylinder to about 25 centimeter. You can rotate it and position it the way you want. Let me just increase its exposure to about 3, and now we have this cylinder as our light source. You can see the cylindrical reflection clearly on the sphere, and you can also adjust the height of the cylinder using the height parameter, and the rest of the options are the same. Then we have disc light, which is another area light. Let me just adjust the orientation of the disc and increase its intensity. You can clearly see the circular reflection in the scene, and you can use the radius parameter to control the size of the disc and how the shadows look. So in this lesson we discussed point, disc, and cylinder lights, and I will see you in the next lesson.